Have you had times of darkness in your own journey? Certainly I have. In my life and ministry, there have been moments when I have felt part of a whole bunch of sets of dynamics that caused great darkness: envy, politics, power struggles, lies, deceit, greed. So many of the things that Jesus felt in the Garden of Gethsemane. What did I do in that particular time? I felt myself, when I was experiencing all of these things, needing to do what Jesus did. And so I turned to my Father. I turned to family and friends who I could know and trust. I went to a clinical psychologist for a while, for a long while, and wrestled with a number of things in myself, asking what was going on. But I also asked a group of 12 men to journey with me. So for a period of a year, they prayed with me, discerned with me, reflected with me, helped me to understand myself and my way forward. But ultimately found myself asking in the darkness of the alone time, because I had to do the work myself. Others could support me in it, but I needed to do the work myself. And I felt myself saying, God, so what is your will for me now? What is your will coming out of this? I have people around me praying and supporting and all those things, and absolutely loved through this time. But what is your will for me? And I know that as Jesus prayed that prayer, there was a dialogue with the Father. It was not a simple one dot answer. It was an engagement with the Father. What about this? What about that? Maybe these possibilities. Is there another way? Pass this cup from me, and so on. And God is opening us to a dialogue conversation with Him as we engage in the darkness of our own spaces. And we alone wrestle with this God who loves us and is listening to us and brings us to a point of solution. And as Jesus prayed that prayer, not my will, but yours be done, He gets up from there and faces what is before Him. And I can only say to you that as I have prayed that prayer and sought God's will, the blessings have flowed. There have been frustrations and challenges, of course, but the blessings have flowed from that. And I'm so grateful that out of the darkness came incredible light. And so in the light of God's presence, the colleagues that I was working with and folk that I was journeying with in that dark time, I was able to spend some time asking forgiveness, and they asking forgiveness of me for all the things that they had done. And we found grace and forgiveness together. And so there are things that God is doing in the garden where we spend time with God, wrestling, but also discerning, and then ultimately deciding to do God's will. May your journey bring you to a place of hope and light as well.